Welcome back. We've got Mr. Eddie Osarinhoy, who is the former president, Finance Houses Association of Nigeria. He joins us next to weigh in on the matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. Happy New Year.
This policy, thank you. We've seen the reports, how the dollar has tumbled, something. This, so far, they think it's so good. Haven't seen the figures out there, but what do you think?
Thank you very much. I think it's something CBN needed to do. We couldn't have continued the way we're going, because there was a lot of distortion in the market and things were not really moving the way it should have been moving. I think it's a good way to start. First, we could see that those who were hiding their dollars rushed to bring it to the market. That's why I disagree with the other guy who said the CBN will fall in the market. There are a lot of speculators in this economy. As soon as they heard this, they all brought in the money, because if you didn't do that, they were going to get their fingers burned, because those who bought and started holding the dollars needed to quickly offload to the market to sell. So that was panic, and that further helped to bring in supply, like Mark rightly said. Supply side is important, but I think the problem we had all along is that we were the only ones supplying, and we had the other side trying to even dictate the pricing to people and also control the demand. You see, a situation where you had 11 different exchange rates in one economy was crazy. It was crazy in the sense that nobody could plan with that. 11, that was multiple rates for different people accessing the market at the same time. So even if that's one thing I think the CBN has done, which I think is right for now, even though we look at it as school fees or whatever now, but I think it's the right step in the right direction. Now you could see that even the supply side of that 500 million, they couldn't absorb the market. The market couldn't absorb it.
They could only buy as much.
They couldn't buy as much, because people, those who already had to put in their own to support what CBN, and the whole thing was there. That's because the side price too will no longer be multiple. I think when I say multiple pricing, we knew we had a special price. By 11 at the time I did a special check, I was very amazed to see that 11 different type of exchange rates was being used to access the market. Those who were friends to this and others got some ridiculous rates, which were not applicable even to the exchange rate in the budget, where the budget was 305 to $1. We found out that people were accessing at 179 and tax.
Wow, but part of the challenge Mr. Yusuf identified is that this is a short-term measure, and that they don't have the capacity, the CBN now, to sustain this.
That's what I'm saying. It's a short-term, but it's showing signs that this is the way to go. And with that, other people who were speculating on that will start be careful, because like I said, supply side need to be increased. And if you also watch it, a lot of people were doing importation, export business recently. That's going up. And if we're really going to do export business, you earn your money in dollar and you add to whatever is coming, and it becomes a further increase in the supply side. I think the government, like you rightly said, need to actually get their hands off eventually and let the market interplay, because you don't really fix. See, like I said earlier on, you were two sides of it, the supply and demand. You will fix the supply and also fix those who were going to demand their price to going to pay. That was crazy.
Has this now fixed supply?
What I'm saying, they have tried to increase supply than what it used to be, which is good because we didn't have enough dollar. But even now that the dollar price for oil is increasing, at least they have something to actually shock the market for once. The thing came into the market unexpectedly as much as 500 million. They didn't even have enough our equivalent currency to back up the demand to absorb the whole market. So as that came, other people who had their own hidden started putting to the market.
So what will be the long-term measures that will bring about sustainability, do you think?
Thank you. Long-term measure, like what the other guy said, is to open the market and because there are a lot of people who are out there who want to do business in Nigeria. They are scared about how do you come into an economy that you are not sure what is going to happen tomorrow. So let's allow the market take its right place. Supply and demand determine pricing. You don't force things on people. So let people know that yes, this market is stable. If I put in my dollar, I should be able to get it back at the time I want it at a good price. You know what I'm saying? Not to put your money in and getting it out becomes a problem. So that is what is essential. So I think CBN in their wisdom, maybe reviewing it, it's not, you don't just put everything out in the market at the same time.
Well, how much confidence do we have now with this new policy?
Oh, yes, the policy, this new policy is driving confidence because they are actually using the bank. I was very impressed when I look at how they intend to monitor the banks. Although we know things that happened before, at least from the policy they put in place on how to monitor the bank, it shows that the banks are fewer to monitor in things like that rather than going after the whole world in terms of VDC and all that they were doing the job. But I think with that it will help. But I think with the other thing I think we should look at too is that the Emir of Kano sounded a warning sometime. I think we all heard about it. That the thing was getting terrible. It was a CBN governor who saw what was going on. That he could sit down in one of his things and start to go to CBN, but by his position he can access dollar and start to sell at the same rate at which people were selling. Because it was funny for 11, I mean what I'm talking about, I did a special count, I found at 11 rates were being used to disburse naira dollar to people.
Did the CBN not see that?
I wouldn't know if it did, but I think it was very clear to all of us in the market. We saw it. They called them different intervention thing here and there, and it was crazy. And you don't have enough dollar. You also have the other side rationing, giving special prices on the little dollar you had, and that was the price.
We tried to get the CBN on the program to also give their perspective on this matter, but they couldn't make it. They said they had previous engagements. But speaking about how they intend to monitor the banks, they also did direct that they open several points in airports to ensure that they ease the FOREX dollar scarcity. But there's been several questions about this previously. Remember when they also did give that directive that manufacturers should get, is it 60% of the FOREX? Many complained at the time, we were not seeing it. Now they've given another directive, they flooded the market with this first part of it, of $500 million. Do you then think that with this new move, they can monitor the banks successfully?
Yes, I think that's why I said consistent review and implementation, looking at the policy, may do a good change. What I'm saying, therefore, is that since we've seen the effect now, and they put all the act together, it's a question of reviewing and continuously review the whole thing, and I think before you know it, will be okay. What I think, this is a short-term measure, like you said. On the longer term, they may need to look at how do you ease the market for other people to bring in forex, and that's what I listened to the other man was talking about. You need to encourage other funding to come to the market. The market is where people go freely and buy freely, and so while you have a lot of supply, the demand can equally affect the price. That's what I think is